Okay, everybody. First of all, I said that we were going to be putting the beast back together, or putting the beast together after Thanksgiving. So we're going to do the final part of the beast, which is putting it back together. I need to organize those instructions for you. So those will be coming within a day or two. Hopefully I can get it done tonight and get it to you tomorrow. So that's what's going on with the beast. And then we can be finished with the beast once and for all. And the other thing is we're going to, let's see, I'm going to show you today. I made some changes to African art. I added a couple things. So I'll be showing that to you. And then we'll get started into Mesoamerican art, which is art from Mexico. And then when we finish that, I don't know if we'll do our art project before or after we take the test. Anyways, this break, I made the test. I think it's posted. I think I posted it in the in Schoology. I posted the review. So, hey, how you doing? Absolutely. Tempera or acrylic or what? All right, under here. And so that's what's in our future. And then I think, so the Unit 4 test will be our final for Lone Star. I think I'll make our art project the final for the high school grade, right? It's a fun thing. All right. So let me show you what I added. Let's do slideshow.
Is this the only temper you have?
Yeah, what color are you looking for? Yeah, I should have plenty.
Was it? I don't see like black, yellow.
Oh, these are all the warm colors.
Oh, I was like, wait.
And
Sorry.
these are all the cool colors.
Oh, you're so organized. I'll figure it out. Thank you. It's Memorial Day. You know how that's gonna go.
See you later. Yeah, I heard that. We talked to these all this they're experiencing. I saw it. Okay. Let's see. All right, knock us. Oh yeah, here. So one of the things that I added here is the knot culture has a lot of geometry. Do you see the cone shape of the head right there? All right. And then the cylindrical forms of the body, I added those. And I do think when I made the test, I made questions about that. I cannot remember. Oh, and then the spherical shape or form up there. All right. So the knot culture used geometric forms in their sculptures. All right. This is the same. I added RoboCop to some of this. All right. And oh yeah, you know what these remind me of? Cthulhu. Yeah. Do you see it? Right? Do you see Cthulhu? All right. Actually, those are Portuguese merchants, and I do want you to know that these figures right here, these little heads, is a reference to trading with the Portuguese. That might be on the test. All right, and then the Benin bronzes is the same. Let's see, and then this is all the same. All right. So that's what I added to chapter 19. I added some things to chapter 37. All right, all of this is the same. The reliquary statues are the same. Oh yeah, I think I added Bakongo is the culture that made the nail figures. All these cultures will be on the test. So I will show you a picture of a work of art, and you'll need to be able to identify the culture. Same way as I showed you a picture of a work of art from like Mesopotamia, and you had to tell me if it was Sumerian or Akkadian, that kind of stuff. So um, it's still in the same. All right, did everybody get Bakongo? And that's in Congo. All right. All right. I added this slide right here. You should know what a masquerade is. We spent a lot of time on that. All right, so a masquerade. So they're wearing costumes, they're dancing. It's a ritual. They're calling, it has to do with spirits. Sometimes they call on spirits, sometimes they're repelling spirits. A lot of the masquerades are initiation ceremonies. A lot of the masquerades tell stories, they are a narrative, but all of this revolves around masks. So if you could put this in your notes. Are we good to go? If you need more time, let me know. All right, I'm moving on. All right, I put raffia earlier in the PowerPoint. You should know what raffia is. Raffia will be on the test. All right, this is the same. No, I don't want to watch the video. Let's go back. I want to go back to. There you go. This is new. The Bamana culture. That's right there. All right. Our next work of art is the Chihuahua headdresses. And we're looking at the two that are in the center of this photograph right here. And I put this photo in to show you just how large these things are. The one on the left is a female. The one on the right is a male. Notice that the male is larger. Notice that the female is with child. And these are worn on top of the head. And the dancers, like almost all of African masquerade dancers, are male. So a male dancer will be wearing the male headdress, and a male dancer will be wearing the female headdress. Now, do these look like animals to you? What kind of animal? Yes, gazelle, yes. All right, these are a combination, like a composite figure, of an antelope. This is what the book said, and an aardvark and a pangolin. I had to look up what a pangolin is. I've never heard of one before. Nope. Yeah. Pangolin was new to me. It reminds me of a armadillo. All right. So the horns and long arched neck represent the antelope associated with grace and strength. The head has a long pointed nose, and the low slung body are features of the aardvark, admired for its determination in digging. The silhouette like nature of the sculptural representation is a play on positive and negative spaces, and it has a linear pattern. And the male is distinguished by its long horns and elaborate openwork mane. The female, representing an oryx antelope, carries a fawn on her back, a reference to human mothers who carry babies on their backs as they till the fields. And the male is a representative of the rowan antelope. So these are what the dancers look like right here. The headdress is attached to a basketry skull cap and secured on top of the dancer's head with a cotton strip. The dancer's face would be covered by a semi-transparent cloth, and a costume of darkened raffia fiber would cloak the dancer's body. Farming is extremely important to the Bamana culture. It is central to their identity, and the Bamana work hard to provide enough food for the long dry season. The Chihuahua is a mystical spirit that taught humans how to farm. And although many Bamana have adopted Islam over the course of the last century, theatrical Chihuahua dances continue in many Bamana villages, celebrating their agrarian lifestyle. So we're going to watch a little bit of the Chihuahua dance. And we're going to skip to one. All right, this is the procession of the dancers. All right, I'm going to skip ahead to 4. The cane that they use is to imitate the long legs of the antelope. All right. Moving on now. And the image of the Chihuahua headdresses have become so popular that they are now used on the official airline of this African airline. And also, it's used in the currency. You can see the Chihuahua figures over here on the lower corners. All right, so the Dan culture we've already done. All right, and the Demamba we've already done. Banda we've already done. I've made some additions. I made an addition to the Mindy culture, and this Mindy culture will be on the test. And this is a unique culture because it is women that are the dancers instead of men. Even when you have a woman costume, it is danced by and is worn by male dancers. So this is all these images, these masks are of women. We've already done this. We've already gone over this, but this is what I wanted to show you. We're going to skip. All right, I'm going to stop it there and we're going to move on. Let's go here. All right, the Chokwe, this is new. So we're going back to the Congo and we're going to look at the Chokwe culture. And the Chokwe is in the southwestern part of the Congo. And this is a female Puo mask. Get a closer look of it. And there are lots of different Puo masks. A Moana Puo is a young woman. Do we have? Okay. A young fertile woman who has undergone woman's initiation ceremonies and is ready to marry and bear children. Sometimes abbreviated simply as Puo, which means woman. It's carved from wood by men. And the person that carves it is called a Songi, a professional sculptor, who is commissioned to create a Moana Puo mask. And the inspiration of the Puo, it's meant to be the most beautiful woman, or the woman that holds the most womanly attributes. And so the sculptor will usually think about a woman that he knows that encompasses the most womanly attributes, and the Puo mask will often look like that woman that he admires. Attributes like tattoos, jewelry, hairstyle, and scarification patterns in the mask reference certain individuals that the sculptor deems as beautiful, somebody that the sculptor knows. Sometimes the masks have pointy, filed teeth. This is a sign of beauty in the Chokwe culture. So when I was researching this, there was a difference of opinion of the different art historians. So one art historian would say Puo is a female ancestor, and another one would argue that a Puo is a young woman ready to bear children. And yet another art historian will say the Moana Puevo is the old ancestor, Moana Puo is the young woman. Both are the ideal of womanhood. So there's a lot of arguments among the art historians. So we're going to take a look at this one right here. This one is on display in the museum. And one of the sources that I read is that it's a real shame that, it's both a blessing and a curse that these masks are in museums. It's a blessing that we get to go and see these masks that we wouldn't normally see because they're not part of our culture. But also, these masks are taken out of context. The context of these masks is a dance. You should see them in a dance. And that's why I've been showing you videos of these masks being used in dances, because I believe that that is the appropriate context of seeing these masks. And, it's even almost belittling to be watching a 1 or 2 minute clip of a video instead of watching the whole thing. But we just don't have that kind of time. But we see a limited glimpse of how these work in the Chokwe community. When performed during men's initiation, the Moana Puo is dynamic and engages with women in the community. So on the left is a drawing of what the Puo costume would have looked like in the 1890s. Here's a 1920s photograph of a Puo costume. And then here's a photograph of a costume taken in 1997. As the atmosphere in the community can be tense during a men's initiation, the masquerade characters like the Moana Puo serve to play with, quote unquote, play with, and entertain the women and honor the mothers of the boys undergoing initiation. In addition to being made by a man, the Moana Puo is danced by a man in front of an audience of women. The outfit is a tight-fitting crocheted costume, wooden breasts, skirts tied around the hips, and scarves. As part of the performance, the dancer might also carry objects such as a whistle or a fly whisk. Since the dancer is covered or completely from head to toe, the dancer's identity is concealed from the audience, though women often know who it is that's dancing. Moana Po engages the audience with hand gestures, dances, and songs. Though graceful and elegant, through graceful and elegant speech and movements, Moana Po models an ideal feminine beauty. Now, when I was reading this, I had a problem with the graceful and elegant speech and movements, and I'm just thinking that I'm coming at this through a Western idea of what graceful and elegant means. Because when I show you the dance, it must be a different definition of what I think graceful and elegant means. If women do not feel that a dancer performs well, they might chase away that dancer. So the guys have to be really good dancers when they do this. In fact, the best female dancers in the community would often dance alongside Puevo to test the skills of the impersonator. And talented dancers have a high status in the community. Masquerade characters are considered dangerous. If a masquerade character touches a person, it is believed that that individual will become sick, infertile, or suffer from other misfortunes. So they have these sinuous hip movements of this particular dance. This one is different than the others. And you'll see this. They have this bustle tied around their hips, and they shake their hips to make the bustle move wildly. And then there is also a male counterpart for this mask, but that's part of a different dance, and that's done elsewhere. The male and the female are not together in the same dance. All right, so let's check out a little bit of the dance. We're going to go to...
Sofisticada, né? Era tranças à mão, não é? Outra era com linha, mas fazendo com que crescesse o cabelo. E a Moana Po simbolizou como...
Look at how they make that bustle move.
No meio das mulheres, na sua constatação da beleza.
Porque a mulher é a mais respeitada e conforme na sua configuração, na estatueta, tem vindo a ser trabalhada, tem vindo a ser preservada e a ser cuidada, e nós vamos entrar numa educação nos resgates dos valores para que a mulher volte no seu respeito. Ele representa, por acaso, a beleza da mulher. Ele representa não só a beleza, ele representa também a dignidade da mulher no contexto da sociedade dos povos Lunda Chok, porque a mulher é a mais respeitada.
A máscara é exibida em várias manifestações culturais, entre as quais a Mukanda. Circuncisão masculina, quando os jovens meninos estão em transição de infância para a puberdade.
Essa máscara aparece para embelezar, para dar mais alegria, para dar mais, portanto, aquele impacto de uma festa, porque é um dos jovens que vai para uma escola aprender, portanto, os aspectos socioculturais, nomeadamente como é que vai viver uma mulher depois de sair de lá, vai aprender a construir uma casa, vai aprender como é que se caça, como é que se pesca, como é que se deve viver numa sociedade depois de lá sair. No entanto, é uma alegria enorme. Entra adolescente, os jovens já saem adulto.
Neste ritual de iniciação masculina, por exemplo, a máscara é usada como decorada de 6 postiços, uma tiara de pano que as cobre e o famoso muia, ou seja, o cinto da geada. Mesmo dança para entreter a comunidade e celebrar essa passagem que os adolescentes passam.
Mas não é a mulher que usa essa máscara.
All right, and then we'll go to I told you earlier that the women would join in and dance with the male dancers in order to test their skill. All right, so then we'll move on. The Cuba, I've already shown you this, so we've already done Cuba. I didn't really add anything new to it. So that will finish us for Africa. So let's get started with Mesoamerica and Mexico. All right, so much art history, never enough time to cover it all. So let's go run through the art museum. We're doing chapter 18 now. Chapter 18 is all about the Americas. It's all the way from Alaska down to the tip of South America. But for my lecture, I'm just going to focus on Mesoamerica, which is the area of southern Mexico. This is a reminder, write the page number that you start this chapter on in your table of contents. This is a reminder that you should have 5 hand-drawn sketches per chapter, and a reminder to write the chapter number or the chapter title in the header at the top of the page. Okay, where are the Americas? I just told you guys. Yeah, it's all the way from, we have North America, that's all the way from Alaska and Greenland and ice, and all the way down to South America. So where is Central America? Yeah, it's right in the middle of it all. And then where is Mesoamerica? I just told you, it's the southern part of Mexico. So this is the area that we're going to focus on. And we're talking about Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, Honduras, and El Salvador. So there are different periods of time that we will be looking at. The first is the pre-classic period, and we will study the Olmec culture. There's also the Zapotec culture that we won't look at. The second period is the classical period or the classic period, and that is the Maya and the Teotihuacan. And the third period is the post-classic period. Even though that we're not going to study Zapotec, it's going to pop up on the test. So I just want you to know that it was one of the other eras that we did not study. All right, and the classic period is called classic because most archaeologists at the beginning gravitated toward the grandiose Mayan stuff. But the post-classic has just as much cool stuff in it. Are we good with this? Anybody need more time? Are you good? So in this chart right here, there's lots of different cultures going on in ancient Mexico, but we're going to focus on the Olmec up here. We're going to focus on Mayan. There's Teotihuacan right here. We're going to look at that. And then the Aztec. And then look at how short the Aztec period is. All right, first we're going to look at the Olmec. And the word Olmec means people from the land of rubber trees. And this is the mother culture of all Mesoamericans. In fact, this is a great point to stop at for today. All right. So we will stop here for today. Does anybody have any questions about anything at all? About the beast? About art history? About life in general?